Hello Year 2 and welcome to your first session learning about the past and present tense. In today's session we are going to learn about the simple past and the simple present. For your lesson you will need a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, so if you don't already have these things please pause the video and collect them now. Okay, let's get started then. So we're going to have a little warm up and just think back to something that we talked about before half term. So I've written a sentence here, but I think it could do with a little bit of editing and improving. Okay, I think there's some things that could be polished, and I think perhaps the sentence could be extended or made a little bit more interesting or exciting. Okay, so I'm going to read the sentence out to you, then I'm going to ask you to pause the video and then you can have a go at improving and editing this sentence. On Saturday, Jenny and Paul played hide and seek through a video call. I'll read it one more time. On Saturday, Jenny and Paul played hide and seek through a video call. So I would like you to please pause the video and have a go at editing and improving this sentence. Okay, so let's have a look then. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is edit it. I think there's some things that perhaps need to be fixed. So I'm sure lots of you noticed that really the start of our sentence should have a capital letter. I'm sure you also remembered that Saturday is a proper noun. It's the name of a day of the week, so it should have a capital letter as well. We know that the spelling pattern for the end of a word with the A sound is usually the A-Y spelling. So I don't think Saturday is spelt quite right. I'm sure that you also noticed that Jenny is somebody's name, so that needs to have a capital letter. Jenny and Paul played, we know, and this is something we're going to talk about today, we do know that the ending of a past tense word often ends in the ED spelling. We know that we don't often just add a D on the end. I know that I should have had some finger spaces here between hide and seek, and I know that at the end I need some sort of punctuation. Now you might have chosen to improve the sentence as well. So here I've edited it and I've improved it. So I've changed it to, on Saturday, Jenny and Paul played hide and seek through a video call for 2 hours. And I've added an exclamation mark because I think 2 hours is quite a long time to have done that. So I think it shows that it's kind of an exciting thing to have happened. I'd love to see you sending these sentences in and to see how much you can remember from the work we did before half term. Okay, let's get started then with today's learning. So, here you can see some sentences. I have written, I eat breakfast, I brush my teeth, I go for a walk. Okay, now do you think these sentences are in the past tense, or do you think these sentences are in the present tense? Can you tell me, past or present? Excellent job, guys. These sentences are in the present tense, aren't they? Okay, now this is a special type of present tense, and it is called the simple present. And this means that they are things that we are doing right now, or that we do regularly. And when we say these things, it's because they are true at the moment. So I eat breakfast, I brush my teeth, I go for a walk. They could be things I'm doing right now, but they're also things that I do regularly. Every morning, I eat breakfast. Every morning, I brush my teeth. Every morning, I go for a walk. So let's have a little look then. You can see here that the verb play can be used to show the present tense. So I play football, they play football, we play football, Sam plays football, or she plays football, okay? The verb play is showing me that the sentence is in the present tense. And you can see that for most of these sentences, the verb is written as play, P-L-A-Y. But for some of these sentences, the verb has also got an S on the end, plays. And in some sentences in the present tense, the verb will just be by itself, or in other sentences, we might need to add an S or an ES spelling pattern on the end. So let's see if you can have a go. I've written the sentence, I eat breakfast. And then I've started some sentences, but the verb is missing from each of my sentences. So what I would like for you to do, please, is have a go at deciding whether the verb in these sentences should read eat or should read eats. So please pause the video and write out each of the sentences with the correct form of the verb, either eat or eats. Super. Okay, so let's have a look through and you can check whether you have chosen the correct form. They, should it be eat or eat? They eat. Well done. They eat breakfast. We eat. Well done. We eat breakfast. Sue eats breakfast. Fantastic. And the last sentence, he eats breakfast. Well done. So if we are using somebody's name or we are using the word he or she, this is when we will normally need to have our verb with the ending s, or in some cases es. Great job, guys. Okay, so that is the simple present tense. Let's move on to the simple past tense, okay? So let me read these sentences to you, and I'm going to ask you, what do you notice about the verb in these sentences? I listened to music. I played at the park. I helped my sister with her homework. Have just a moment to think. You might want to pause the video. What do you notice about the verb in each of these sentences? So the verb in each of these sentences, the doing word, you will notice has got the ed suffix on the end of it. Now, we know that this isn't always going to be the case for verbs for the past tense, which we've discussed before and we will mention again in just a moment. But you can see that the verb here is showing you that the sentence is in the past tense. Now, when I'm not sure if a sentence is in the present tense or the past tense, I always use the word yesterday, because I know yesterday is a past tense thing, isn't it? If it happened yesterday, it must have happened in the past. And I will reread the sentence, but I'm going to add yesterday to the start of it just to check that it still makes sense. Then I know that it's a past tense sentence. So I could say, yesterday I listened to music. That sounds right, doesn't it? Yesterday I played at the park. That sounds right. Yesterday, I helped my sister with her homework. Well, that sounds right as well. So when I'm not sure, I use the word yesterday just to help me double check myself and make sure that I'm happy that the sentence is in fact from the past tense. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the rules and the spelling patterns that we need to know for writing in the past tense. So as we said, the verb in the sentence tells us if it's the past or the present tense, which is what we've just been looking at. Now, this one, first one, I think you should be pretty confident with. Are you ready, guys? Here I've got some verbs, and what I would like you to do first is just have a go at writing each of these verbs in their past tense form. Walk, play, look, climb. Okay, so just have a think. Walk will become, play will become, look will become, and climb will become. Think about how these words will be written in their past tense form. So please pause the video and have a go at writing each of these words in their past tense form. Okay, great job. Let's have a look then. So this one wasn't too tricky, I don't think, because this is something we've mentioned before. For all of these words, all we've done is added ed to the end of them. We've added that suffix ed. So we would read walked, played, looked, climbed. Remember, sometimes it sounds like I'm making a t, t, t. For example, in looked, there's a sort of a t sound there, isn't it? But we know that it's spelt with the ed spelling pattern. Okay, so what I'd like for you to do then is just pause the video, choose one of these past tense forms of the verb and write it into a sentence. Super, so make sure you send those sentences in to us at the end of the session. Okay, so let's have a look here. We know that we often need ed at the end to make a verb into its past tense form. We're quite confident with that. But we also know that if a word ends in a y, okay, we might need to think this through a little bit more. So if a word has got a consonant before it and then the letter y, we are going to have to swap our y for an I and add ed. Okay, so cry will become cried. I'd like you to have a little go at changing the words spy and carry into their past tense form. Please pause the video and have a try now. Super. Okay, so let's have a look then. So spy becomes spied and carry becomes carried. And you can see that on both of these words, we've taken that letter Y, we've swapped it for an I and added ed. Okay, and that's very much the same as we do when we're adding lots of different suffixes to a word with one consonant, then the letter Y, okay, or with a consonant and the letter Y, not always one. Because sometimes if we've got a double consonant, you can see that they're both the same in the word carry, then we would still follow that pattern. We would swap the letter Y for an I and add ed. Fantastic, guys, well done. Okay, so again, what I'd like you to do is pause the video and have a go at using one of these verbs. I really need to practice drawing circles on here, don't I, guys? I'd like you to have a go using one of these verbs in a sentence. Super. Okay, so let's have a look at these words then. So all of these words end in the letter E, okay? And when a word ends in the letter E, when a verb ends in the letter E, sorry, and we are turning it into its past tense form, we don't need to add ed again. We're just going to add the letter D. So wade becomes waded. To wade is to kind of walk through water, and it can be kind of tricky. If you're walking through a puddle, you might not use the word wade, but if you were perhaps trying to push through, if you're walking through the sea, you might use the word wade. So when I've changed wade into waded, all I've done is added the letter D on the end. So can you have a go at changing bake and smile into their past tense forms? Pause the video and have a go now. Great job. So let's have a look. Bake becomes baked, smile becomes smiled. And you can see all we needed to do, we already had that E there, so we've just added the D on the end, and you can still see the ED spelling pattern at the end of those words. Okay, just like we've done before, please pause the video and use one of these past tense verb forms in a sentence. Okay, super. So let's move on then. Let's have a look at this one. Sometimes we will have a word with one vowel and then one consonant at the end, okay? One vowel, one consonant, one vowel, one consonant, one vowel, one consonant. Okay, now when this happens, what we need to do is take our very last consonant, we double it and add ed. Okay, so when the verb ends in one vowel and then one consonant, we take that last consonant, we double it and add ed to change the verb from its present tense form to its past tense form. Okay, so skip becomes skipped, and you can see it's got that double consonant, double P in the middle there. So what I would like for you to do, as we've done before, I'd like you to change hop, stop and sob from their present tense verb form into their past tense verb form. Please pause the video and have a go. Okay, super. So let's have a look. Hop becomes hopped, stop becomes stopped, and sob becomes sobbed. And you can see that in all of these words, that final consonant has been doubled. And then we've added that ed spelling pattern onto the end. Okay, just like we've done before, I'd like you to have a go at using one of these past tense verb forms in a sentence. Please pause the video and have a go. Super. Okay, now we know that in English, unfortunately, there are all of these rules and then there are always a few words that don't follow the rules. And we call these irregular words. So sometimes we have a verb that doesn't follow the pattern of how we change it into its past tense, okay? We know that runned isn't a word. We're not going to change run into runned. We know that run in the past tense is ran. So I might say, I run around the park, or I might say, yesterday I ran around the park. So these ones here, what I'd like for you to do is have a think. Can you work out what the past tense form is of each of these verbs? So I know that run becomes ran. So have a think. What does swim become? What does eat become? What does go become? And what does see become when we turn it into its past tense verb form? Pause the video and please have a go at writing down each of these verbs in their past tense form. Off you go. Super. Okay, so let's have a look then. So swim becomes swam, eat becomes ate, go becomes went, and see becomes saw. So as we've done before, I'd like you to choose one of these past tense verb forms, and I would like you to use it in a sentence. Super. Okay, so I have got one more challenge for you today. We've talked about the past tense and we've talked about the present tense in their simple forms. What I would like for you to do is have a go at playing this game. And in this game, there's a few different sentences and you need to sort them depending on whether you think they are a past tense sentence or whether you think that they are a present tense sentence. Now, the link for this game is on the weekly plan. I will just let you know, on some computers and on some tablets, you might see just about here a little advertising box pop up. You don't need to click on that, you just need to click on the grey button that says start, okay? Please make sure that your grown-ups are with you when you're using this website. Have a great day. Thanks so much for your hard work, Year 2. I can't wait for you to email in your fabulous sentences, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.